Well, hello, hello, hello. My hair looks crazy. Welcome back to another reading vlog. So here's what I've got going on for this reading vlog. Let me grab my phone. I've been listening to an audiobook. I'm listening to The Dark Archive by Genevive Cogman. This is the 5th or 6th book in the Invisible Library series. I want to say there's 8 books, so I think this is the 7th, maybe? I don't know. It's the second to last book. I have 27 minutes left of this audiobook. I've been listening to this series all year because it's really long. It's, like 8-ish books. And I'm really enjoying it. I've really liked all of the books. They're really fun. They're kind of, they're fantasy, but it's like light fantasy. It's sort of set in our world. It's like a mixture between fantasy and urban fantasy. And then it's also kind of like spy-ish, kind of cheesy. I've just really been enjoying these. It's a great series, especially if you like to read like a big high fantasy and then you need a palate cleanser. These are great palate cleansers because they're pretty short. Each book is only like 350 to 400 pages, so the audiobooks are only about 10 hours long. And then if you listen to them faster, like I do, they take way less time. But anyway, so I'm almost done with this, and I'm really excited and really sad because the next book is the last one. And I don't really want it to end because I'm like really attached to these characters, but at the same time, like I'm glad to be finishing a series. It's a really good feeling. So anyway, so I'm finishing this. I anticipate that this will be a very highly rated thing for me. I don't really think that this is like something that I could actually rate because I've really enjoyed the entire series. So there's that. I have some arcs that I'm finishing. I am 17% of the way through Heart of Night and Fire, which is the Night Fire Quartet Book 1 by Nisha Tuli. I think that's how you say her last name. I'm not 100% sure. I have read 2 other books of hers on Kindle Unlimited. They're fantasy romance series. The first one was called Trial of the Sun Queen. The second one was called, I want to say it was like The Heart of the Aurora King. I'm not sure. Anyways, I really enjoyed that series. It was a lot of fun. Another great palette cleanser if you like a fantasy romance. It was like not the best world building. The writing was very fantasy romance. It's what you would expect of a fantasy romance, but I had a lot of fun reading those. It was one of the better free Kindle Unlimited fantasy romances that I've read. And I'm looking forward to the 3rd book in that series that's coming out. So there's that. I enjoy this author. And so far I'm enjoying this one, but this one is even lighter on the world building, which I think is funny. I mean, like, I understand what's going on and I'm enjoying. In the author's foreword, she said that she wrote this as like kind of an homage to her Indian heritage. And so it's like a real inspired take on Indian lore and culture and that sort of thing. And so I've been enjoying like hearing her talk about the clothes and the food and the, the different kind of like monsters that can appear. So I've just been vibing with this one and I'm enjoying it. So I'm 17% of the way through that. I need to finish this. And then I also have, I still haven't read The Library of Shadows, which is next on the ARC list of books to read, but I don't know if I'm going to get to that this weekend. This one is coming out before that one, so I've got to get this one done. And then, okay, I have been very slowly working on the Wheel of Time series. I have collected a bunch of the books in these first edition covers. This one isn't technically a first edition, but it's the same first edition cover. Because look, I love how cheesy this is. Like, I love how like late 80s, early 90s these covers are. I read the first okay, this is how this happened. I watched the Wheel of Time show, all right? And then I thought, that looks like a series I might enjoy. So then I picked up the first Wheel of Time book. And I sort of enjoyed it. I have this weird thing with these like super high fantasy books where like they're fine. It was fine. It was a fine book. But I didn't love it as much as I loved like some newer stuff like City of Brass. Nothing can compare to City of Brass. Chef's kiss. Don't even, if you have something bad to say about the City of Brass series, don't talk to me. I don't want to hear it. So the first Wheel of Time book was pretty good. Like there was a lot of action. I felt like there was more action than there was in the TV series. But I also really enjoyed the TV series. Okay, so I read the second one. I got that one from the library, listened to the audiobook, read the second one. Hated it. It was terrible. That was the most boring book. Listen, here's the synopsis. The whole entire plot of the second book, okay? They find this magic horn, okay? At the end of the book, the first book. They find this magic horn, the Horn of Volier, or whatever it's called. Then at the beginning of the second book, they lose said horn, okay? They all split up. They're going on a quest to find the horn. They find the horn. They lose the horn again. And then I'm not even sure like where we ended with the horn, because it was just find the horn, lose the horn, find the horn, lose the horn. And I was like, God, kill me. Then I started the third book, and I want to say like maybe a third of the way through the third book. I was having a hard time keeping up with all the characters because they've kind of split up. And I got to a certain part, and the author kept describing this, like the owner of this inn or whatever, who was kind of playing a crucial part in that chapter or whatever, as the fat man. The fat man this, the fat man that. And I can't stand that. Like, I realized this was written in the 90s, and I realized that as a fat person, like this is kind of a sensitive topic for me or whatever, I guess. But there are better descriptions than to keep calling somebody the fat man. Like, give him a name. Give him a name. It doesn't have to be that hard. So now, it was a soft DNF because I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I was not interested in it at the time. I was like, I was so mad about how boring the second book was. And this one had not picked up, I felt like, and I kept getting lost. So I returned it from the library. Well, I decided that since this season 2 of the TV show is coming out, and I've been watching this woman on TikTok who really loves the Wheel of Time series, and she's been talking about how great it is, and I heard her say that if you wanted to be safe for season 2, you should at least read through book 3. And so I figured, well, I'm going to try to get through this. So I'm going to attempt to get through this book for this reading vlog. I have the audiobook from the library, and I have a physical copy. So I think I'm going to do some tandem reading, because that really helped me with Hero the Ninth. And for these bigger fantasy books where there's like a huge cast of characters and there's a lot of stuff going on, I just feel like that would be really helpful for me. So that's the plan for this. It's very rainy and dreary outside today, and I have a couple things around the house that I need to do. I've got to make tomato soup for a video for my real job, and I have a bookshelf that I got. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put this together. It's this cute little like Y-shaped bookshelf that I got from like one of those Amazon return stores. I got it for like $6, but it was opened, so I have to see if like the hardware and stuff is in it. But I'm hoping to be able to put that together today, because I have too many books and not enough bookshelves. I'm working on another quilt. So I have a lot of time to listen to audiobooks, but it's very rainy outside, and I just want to like sit down on the couch and read my Kindle. So I've got some things I need to get done, and then I'm going to do those things. So let's get to it. So I am back. It's much later in the afternoon. I am 38% 38% of the way through, what's this book called? I'm 38% of the way through Heart of Night and Fire. I am enjoying this book, but it does have problems. It's sort of chaos. Basically, we're following Zarya, and she has been held captive, sort of, with someone called Ro, and he has magic, and he has a perimeter set up, and so she's been held captive there for almost 21 years. She's almost 21 years old. And one day Ro goes missing and the perimeter comes down. And so she's able to escape. And she finds herself in the nearby city. And things are going wrong very quickly. There's like very strange monster attacks, like monsters I've never heard of. It's wild. It's bonkers. It's like kind of chaos magic, kind of anything goes. It's very like Middle Eastern and Indian inspired. So like I am enjoying it, but it does have its problems. And I mean, I think that this is going to be the case where it's like one of those books where there's very obvious like plot holes, problems with the writing, problems with the world building, etc. But I am enjoying it. You know, it's like, it's just one of those things. It's easy to read. There's so much happening that it's hard for me to not be intrigued and to not enjoy it. And I have read I said earlier, I've read a couple other books by this author, and I sort of expected this because that's kind of how her other books were, or their other books were. They're not bad. They're not good. But to me, like, it's a good time. So that's the update. That's where I am on that. It's almost 4 in the afternoon. My husband's going to be home soon, and so I probably won't update anymore today, so you'll see me again tomorrow. I'm just going to be doing some more reading. When he gets home, we'll have dinner, probably watch some TV, and then go to bed. Tomorrow morning, I have to take our cat to the vet first thing in the morning, so that will give me a good opportunity to get started on The Dragon Reborn, the third book in the Wheel of Time series. I'll have a good chunk of time to listen in the car while I'm taking Binks to the vet for his shots. So that's the update. I'm gonna keep reading, keep plugging along. It is Friday morning. I just got back from taking the cat to the vet. I had to drop him off because they needed to get a urine sample, and he did not have any urine in his bladder, so he's staying the day at the vet. Anyways, I finished Heart of Night and Fire last night. And I don't know how I feel. My chair is being very squeaky today. I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, the first half was kind of chaos. It didn't know what it wanted to be. It was trying to do too many things. But then the second half, it felt like the story got focused and things got better. And I stayed up until like 11 last night to finish it, which is not something I do very often, but I was so close to being done and I wanted to know what happened. Like the last 30% slapped. The character development, not so great. The overall world building plot, overdone. World building, basically non-existent. But if you like a fantasy romance, you might like it. I think it was fine. That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. So yeah, and I have read the first couple chapters of The Dragon Reborn, and it is not a fast-paced fantasy romance. That's like opposite ends of the spectrum as far as books go, going from like a semi-poorly written fantasy romance to the Dragon Reborn, the third book in the Wheel of Time series. So it's going, things are happening. I have some stuff I need to do on the computer. I've got to do some editing, and then I'm gonna get to reading. That's the update. I look like I've been sitting on the couch reading all day. And that would be because I have. I am 25% of the way through the Dragon Reborn. I am listening to the audiobook and following along with the book because I feel like that's helpful. And I can listen at a higher speed, so I'm getting through more that way. This book is a slog. It's so difficult because I feel like it's really well written, and I feel like I would be enjoying the plot if I hadn't just come off of an underwritten book. This one feels like so overwritten. It's just like, I feel like all of the scenery descriptions is unnecessary. Like, there could have been probably at least 100 pages I feel like shaved off of this if the author just cut down on scenery description. So there's that. I know what every flower looks like and what every person in the background of the scene is doing in these books, and frankly it's irritating. And I can't get as invested in the characters. And you know what else? So like, for me, when I read City of Brass, I immediately felt connected to Nari and Ollie's character. I understood their motivations. I knew what they were going to do in a given situation. They felt real to me. They felt like real people. These characters in this book don't feel real. Like, they don't feel like a real person. Same thing with like R.F. Kuang's books. Ren in The Poppy War, I knew exactly what she was going to do, right? Because I understood her. She felt maybe not real is the right word for her, but like, I understood her. Like, there were things, I got it. She felt like she could be real. Same with R.F. Kuang's other books, and that's true for like Mistborn. I felt like Vin was a real person and I understood her. These characters, like the way they talk to each other, it doesn't feel real. And honestly, the only one who feels semi-real is Perrin. And I am enjoying Perrin's storyline. But I don't know. It feels so... It feels like hoity. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels pretentious. I don't know if like fantasy can feel pretentious, but this feels pretentious. So I'm trying really hard to get over that. I feel like I am going to force myself to read this, but it is slowly killing me. So I'm taking a break because that's kind of all I've done today. And I got some book mail. I normally don't order stuff from Amazon. However, I'm balling on a budget currently. I'm trying to save a little money, and I really wanted a copy of this book because I've seen it talked about a lot, and I don't think it's traditionally published. I think this is an indie published. It seems like it would be right up my alley, and I'm looking for spookier books. It's like the fall season is upon us. Like, it feels cool outside today, and I'm in North Carolina, and it never feels cool during this time of the year. I want to like sit outside, have a coffee, the leaves change color. I want to read something spooky. That's the other problem that I'm having with the Dragon Reborn. It's not spooky at all. I'm wanting something a little spooky. So I'm going to open this. I might pivot and read an arc. I got 2 arcs that are sort of spooky vibes that I really want to read. One I'll show a picture of. It's called Green Fuse Burning. And the cover, spectacular. It is a beautiful color cover. I saw the cover. I had no idea what it was about. I immediately was like, I need that from NetGalley, and it gave it to me automatically, so it wasn't like a ARC request. So I'm very excited to read that, and it sounds spooky. I'm so excited about that, and I think it's written by an indigenous author, so that's very exciting. Okay, so I'm gonna open this and drink my coffee. I might pivot, I might read something else, just because this stuffy high fantasy is gonna be the death of me. So it is Saturday at almost 2 o'clock. I'm a little late on this update. I slept in a little this morning, and we've just had someone come in and install a ceiling fan for us. The ceiling fan is finally fixed. Oh my God. Because it was driving me nuts. Anyway, so I'm still reading The Dragon Reborn. It is getting better. I'm at 38% of the way through. I have been kind of like tandem reading with the audiobook and the book, and that has been good. It's getting better. I was at 51% when I DNF'd last time, so I'm hoping that I'll get there by the end of the day, and hopefully I can get past the DNF point. Yesterday, I started and finished within 24 hours another book. It's called Green Fuse Burning. I got an ARC on NetGalley. It comes out on October 31st, I think. It was spectacular. It was amazing. I don't even know how to describe this book. It was so good. It was atmosphere. It was very atmospheric. The writing was beautiful. It was beautiful and was lyrical. It was almost a dog. It was almost poetic. You follow the main character, Rita, who is an artist. She's struggling after her father passes away, and her girlfriend, Molly, gets her a grant to go on a retreat for a week so that she can work on her art. And when she gets there, she kind of like has a mental breakdown, devolves into madness, and the author's depictions of like her father dying and how she's grieving from that were, it was the most like stunning and haunting writing I think I've ever read. I almost cried several times throughout the entire book. It was so good, and it was creepy, and the cover art was beautiful. I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it before I even read it because I love the cover art so much. Anyways, it kind of had like some climate change elements, and it was about how the main character is like out of touch with her indigenous heritage. It was beautiful. It was stunning. I am a fan, and I just found out that through reading, I like read the acknowledgments and everything, that same author, Tiffany Morris is their name. They also have a short story in Never Whistle at Night, which is another ARC that I would like to read, and that is a collection of dark fiction, indigenous dark fiction. So I will be reading that very soon because I loved Tiffany Morris's writing so much. Wow, it was amazing. I don't know, I'm not going to shut up about this book. Like, it's going to be the new thing that I talk about all the time because it was stunning. It was gorgeous. So I'm going to keep plugging along with the Wheel of Time. But nothing is going to be able to stand up to Green Fuse Burning because, wow. I'm back. It is Sunday noonish. My husband is out with some friends, and so I have been at home reading all morning. I am 63% of the way through The Dragon Reborn. It is much better than what I remember it being, and I am sort of enjoying it. It's good. It's a lot of questing for things, and I'm not really sure if that's something I'm into. I don't know. I kind of feel like all fantasy is like a quest for something. Like you're on a quest to find out something. You're on a quest for something, like a physical something. But it's pretty dry. But I will say, so there's like two characters now who are sort of like prophesizing things, and things that they have been saying are starting to happen. And so I'm enjoying that, because like something will happen and I'll go, oh, that one character said that really obscure thing, and now it's sort of making sense. And I like that in books. I do like that, especially when I catch it. I don't always catch it. I am enjoying it. I am hoping that I will be able to finish it, but I have like 38%, 35% left, and it takes so much to like listen to it. And I looked at how long the next audiobook is. The next audiobook is 41 hours. My God. And then the books aren't really that long.